You want to always be thinking about how can I do this more efficiently, better, more effectively, and that requires thinking differently. Hello there, and thank you for tuning in to another Backstage Business episode. I am Summer Felix Mulder, and today I am giving you another solo episode of some things that I've learned in the past few weeks that I believe can bring some value to you. And a lot of times when I do these, it's insight that I have, and for some of you, it might not be anything new, but like I've said before on previous episodes, sometimes you hear it again at the right time and it does have some meaning for you. So that is my intention. When I get that feeling of, oh, this is something I want to share, there's reason for it. And I hope that it impacts some of you at the right time. Right now, my family and I are in the middle of a move. We had, before we even sold our last house, we found a house that we wanted to get and renovate again. My husband does a lot of remodeling and he's so good at it. And we decided to do that again. It seemed like the right move for us. So we sold our house pretty quickly, packed up, and we are now in our new house while there are a bunch of renovations and construction going on. Um, so there's noise. There's If you've seen the movie The Money Pit, that's definitely life right now. It's like waking up at 6:30 in the morning, and there's the whole crew like, "Good morning." Here's your coffee. It's like they're just part of the family right now, and it's loud. So I was able to find a small little area where I can actually record because the show must go on and I still have podcasts to record for not only this podcast, but for the other podcasts that I have with my husband. So got to make it work. So here I am, and um, I know that we've done it before and we can do it again, but I recently posted something on my personal social media because my husband said something to me that was so simple but so powerful. And as we were packing and we were getting into the groove of, okay, this week we're moving, he said to me, this week is going to suck and we're going to be tired. We're going to be overwhelmed. We're both going to be running our businesses, and we're both in a season where both of our businesses require a ton of our attention. And whether you have help or not, it's a lot. And we have been so gracious that we've had friends that have totally helped us, which is awesome. But there's a lot of energy that gets used, and when you have a ton going on all at once, you're likely to get moody or irritated. Things are going to bug you, especially when you're doing a remodel. There's things that you step on, there's things that go wrong, like leaks and um, outages. There's all kinds of stuff. It happens. And he he said, he's like, this week is going to suck. And then he followed it up with saying, it's more important than ever that we stay tight and super connected. And I smiled right away in the midst of my super overwhelmed state because, for me, if you know me and you've listened long enough, you personally know me, you know that I like things in order. I like structure. I like routine. And both of us actually, which may surprise a lot of people, we don't actually like a ton of change. And so for two people who don't love change, we sure do stir up a lot and we're constantly doing new things, but it's always for good reason because I know that that's what helps us grow. But back to staying connected, I thought about this because when he said it wasn't just, a sweet thing to say. It was super powerful and it was a very simple strategy. And I thought about how this pertains to relationships and business and all the things that do go wrong in business and in life and all chaos that will ensue. is so much better dealt with when you have that foundation of security or that feeling of being grounded and planted. And it's okay that things are going on around you because you are not as fragile. Yet when you're fragile and those things happen, it can totally knock you down. So you've probably heard the analogy a ton of, thinking of a tree and the roots planted into the ground. If you think of the storm happening around it and it can stay planted, it can deal with it. It can go through. But when it gets toppled over, that's when things get really bad. And so when he said that, it was so true because if we can keep our relationship strong and keep ourselves totally connected and tight, we can laugh at a lot of these things and we can be there for each other if one gets more overwhelmed than the other. And I have also seen this to be so totally true in business, especially with our team. And what I love is that we have had changes. We're launching new services and new things, and change can be scary for a lot of people. And we've gone through change. You always go through change in business. And I remember when we were new and very, very young as a business, it was a lot more overwhelming, bringing on new people or moving offices or having new systems, or this is the new platform or software, things that we're using. It's a little bit of a shakeup, and it's kind of hard, and sometimes people are like, I don't want to do it. I just want to do it the way we've done it, which, as you know, is the most dangerous thing. I can't remember the name, but I posted this once before too. But one of the most dangerous um, sentences in to say is, but we've always done it this way. And it's so true. It's so true. You want to be thinking about, you want to always be thinking about how can I do this more efficiently, better, more effectively. And that requires thinking differently. And if you just stay stuck in the same place and you stay stagnant, you will remain stagnant. So, what we've learned with our team is, we've really studied the different personalities in our team. We do the personality tests. We see who's really skilled at handling certain challenges and who might be better in another area. And we really look at where people can thrive the most. And it takes some time to get there. You don't know right off the bat. But what I've learned is that taking the time to nurture those relationships and nurture the strengths of these people, much like you do in a relationship, really pays off, especially when big changes or challenges happen. When things go down, like, oh my gosh, there's a website down, or this has happened, or there's a client who's upset. I mean, it's really amazing that when you have that strong connection with each other, how much more powerful it is to get through and then to learn from that and be open minded about how you can do things differently the next time. And I've just learned through so many experiences in business and in relationship that hard times are inevitable. They're going to happen. And I say this is one of my favorite quotes is a crisis is a terrible thing to waste. And I got that from Keith Cunningham's book, The Road Less Stupid, which is such an awesome book. I've probably quoted it so many times, and I probably will in all of these podcasts because I love it. And it's just the time in my life where all of those things that he talks about ring so true to me. And so you can take those moments of crisis and you turn it into something better because you have that strong foundation. And sometimes if you don't have that strong foundation, you turn that crisis into something better and you start to build that foundation if you don't have it. But I will say it's so important. I I've just seen it so clearly now how team or relationship, whoever you're working tightly with on a daily basis, whether it's personal or in business, people can get overwhelmed with change. And just listening to each other, staying connected, being aware of what somebody else might be going through, and really working on utilizing their strengths. Um, it just changes everything. I mean, it really changes the whole experience. And instead of thinking about it as something that can take you down, you start to think of these things as an adventure rather than being super utterly frustrated or having all the bad self-talk, which you're gonna have. Like, the thing is all that's gonna happen anyways when something goes wrong. Negative self-talk, irritability, they just happen. But it's so much easier to get yourself out of that when you have that strong foundation. So, yeah, I just that little statement that he said just got me really thinking and thinking on an even deeper level, and I just envisioned this whole connection that he was speaking of us as a foundation, the solid roots planted into the earth. And it's just a whole lot less scary when you are planted. And in fact, I think that it makes you feel more empowered and capable to take on the hard stuff. And there are storms. Storms do happen, and I love the guests that come on the show and talk about those storms. So it's just a little very quick episode for you all. Maybe you're at a point in your life, a certain season, there's something happening where you're like, you know what, there's a lot going on. And it could be personal, it could be in your business. And it's just a time to really think about, hey, let's have this make us stronger. And I honestly have to say, like, I feel so lucky. I don't know if it's luck. I feel grateful that I have this amazing team at the draw shop who, if things don't go according to plan, or if there is a crisis mode, or there's something that needs to be fixed, that everyone pulls together. And it's just so awesome because if you don't have that strong, like, trust and connection with each other and that transparency of, hey, here's what's going on, I think that the bad or it will is it's just inevitable that those things are going to start to fall apart, and maybe they should. Maybe they absolutely should. Sometimes, a crisis not being a terrible thing to waste also means that all the ugly parts are going to come up, the things that do not need to be a part of your world or your business or your personal life anymore. That happens as well. So just something to think about. If anything like that is happening, um, embrace it. Think about the foundation that you have with yourself, with the relationships in your life, and within your business and the team of people that you work with. And if you feel like it's not tight, if it's not planted, if it's not rooted, what are the things that you need to do to make that happen? And they might make you uncomfortable because it might mean you have to be honest about something that you don't really want to face. It might mean you have to look in the mirror. It might mean that you have to end certain relationships within the business or outside that ultimately will be better for you and allow you to be more grounded. And a lot of that comes from integrity. Um, that's huge. And the more integrity that you have, the more connected that you can be to the people around you, because then it's based on something that is truth. I hope that's helpful. Just my short little summer insight moment for you. And in some way or another, that's going backstage business for you.